Safety, passenger comfort, performance, range, reliability, great emotions from flying, luxurious feel, multi-engine, jet fuel. These are just a couple of main characteristics that I'm about to tell you about this beautiful masterpiece behind me. This is the start of me telling you a story about the ultimate flying machine. This beautiful masterpiece behind me is a state-of-the-art Diamond DA62 multi-engine jet fuel piston airplane. It fills the gap between the high-performance single-engine piston airplanes and the entry-level turboprops. You can think about it as an SUV for your family. Super safe, super reliable, super fun and easy to fly. Hello, my name is Alexander. Welcome to Aviation and welcome to our showcase of Diamond DA62. Today we are here at Wiener Neustadt, which is a home base of Diamond Aircraft, and we are very lucky to have this plane today at our full disposal. We have a lot of activities planned for today and for this video as well, and we are planning to have 3 parts to this video. We'll begin with the exterior and interior overview. Then, of course, we're gonna take this bird for a flight. And at the end of the video, we're gonna sit down and we are going to have a look at the mass and balance and performance of the plane. We're gonna discuss how many people you can actually take, how much fuel you can take, how much baggage you can take, what will be the range, and what are the basic performance figures like takeoff distance, landing distance, climb performance, single engine climb performance, right? Because now you have 2, but we're also thinking about the big question, what if? Should never happen with these engines, but nevertheless we have to be on the safe side. And of course we're gonna have a look at the fuel burn. Just look at it, it is beautiful. Magnificent design, sleek lines, very rigid look, and a little bit aggressive on the engine cowling. When you look at the Diamond DA62, it really looks like a modern airplane, right? Something that you would expect to see in the 21st century, especially from Diamond Aircraft. Delivery is tremendous. Here we have a 2-tone paint scheme with gray and black with a slight touch of colorful lines. And there are a lot of beautiful designs there on the website of Diamond Aircraft. But if you want to be unique, if you want to create a custom livery, there is always an option for you. So the guys can actually create a completely new feeling of the airplane just for you. You're gonna be unique and you can make it exactly like you want it to be. Now, of course, this beautiful painting scheme is covering the all-composite fuselage, which is a very well-known feature of Diamond Aircraft. It is an important feature for them because it helps to reduce the overall weight of the airplane. So here are some figures for the DA62. In basic configuration, the basic empty mass is 1,590 kilograms. It is certified with the maximum takeoff mass of 2,300 kilograms, which gives you a 710 kilograms of useful load. The heart of the DA62, it actually has 2 hearts, right? It's multi-engine, so the hearts of the DA62 are the Astra engine AE330. This is a jet fuel piston engine, or as might others call it, it's a diesel engine basically. Gives you unmatched performance, unmatched fuel consumption, and it has a couple of very, very important features for the pilots. So, a couple of figures. For the Astra engine AE330, you can expect it to produce on the maximum power 180 horsepower and 171 horsepower on maximum continuous power. So, the 3 main features for you as a pilot coming from this engine. And I want to start with fuel, of course. this is a diesel engine, or as it is stated on the website, it is a jet fuel piston engine, right? It runs on jet fuel, which is very cool, not only because of the reduced fuel consumption, but also because of the price of the fuel, and especially what we've seen in recent time with the increase of the price for avgas. Right now it is sort of a very big difference, and it is also increasingly available. I mean, you can get the Jet A fuel pretty much anywhere. And I'm not only talking about the region of European flying, because the infrastructure is quite good, but I'm talking about going pretty much anywhere. Wherever you see big guys flying, like big jets, you have the Jet A fuel there, which means that you can land there and you can be sure that there is going to be something to feed this beast. Now, second of all, it is a jet fuel piston engine, and it is powered by the FADEC, which means that the FADEC is the full authority digital engine control, which basically means that the brain of the engine is the EECU, which is Engine Electronic Control Unit, which means for you as a pilot that you get rid of 3 levers to control your engine. Or if we are talking about the multi-engine piston airplane, you're getting rid of 6 levers. Right? Because now instead of 6 levers, we have only 2, which is called a single lever power control. So now, because you have a brain here, the way you're operating this engine is by telling the ECU how many percents of power you actually want. So this is something that we're going to demonstrate to you when we start the engine and when we fly, but this is the main idea. You're planning yourself a trip for 65% power. You just use 2 power levers instead of 6 power levers. You just see 65% power, done. You are done. So you can expect it to produce, of course, with the combination with the triple blade prop, which is a constant speed prop, right, the variable pitch prop, you can expect to get the maximum power output all the time with the minimum fuel consumption. So that's why you have the brain of the engine here. And the third feature. So it's Jet A fuel, very easy to operate because it basically does everything by itself. Now we have to talk about what if. Now, what if in the multi-engine piston airplane is, of course, what happens if the engine fails. First of all, these engines have a fantastic safety record, right? It is super rigid construction, super solid, super safe, super reliable. But nevertheless, the safety is the main feature of Diamond. So what if? If the engine fails on a propeller, right? We're talking about engines with the props. The main problem with this engine failure is that once the engine fails, your propeller is actually a big pain. Because now, instead of it propelling you forward, you can think about it, it's just a complete disc, which is quite huge, which is just standing on a way of the airflow that comes around the plane, which means that now you're going to have increased drag and it's going to push you to the side. Well, to counteract that on a regular plane, you would need to react pretty fast because you need that small time of reaction to feather the prop. And what I mean by saying that, right, is that you need to put the prop in a position parallel to the air, which means that it will stop windmilling and it will reduce the drag significantly, thus making it easy for you to compensate for the adverse yaw. Now, because you have the brains and because you have a fantastic engine, it does it by itself. So should an engine fail, there is an auto-feathering feature, which works fantastically. Basically, when the propeller governor feels the reduction of oil pressure in here, it drives itself to the full feathered position. So you can take your time. We all know aviate, navigate, communicate, right? You need to stick with the aviate. You need to stick with the control. You need to compensate for the yaw. And you have time for that. Because by the time you have finished compensating for the yaw, by the time you have understood which engine failed, you may be sure that this thing has already feathered itself. So, not only we have the Jet A fuel, not only we have the brains that power you, giving you maximum power output, minimum fuel burn, it is also very safe because it will auto-feather itself. And just the last thing, I know I've been talking for long about the engine, but I just think it's very nice and very good. We've talked about the auto phasering function, but you might have a question, what if we need to restart the engine? Yeah, it will dephasor itself. So that's another thing. We're going to actually show you the procedure in the air, and it will auto phasor itself, and once you are ready to restart, you'll move the power lever and it will dephasor itself. So once again, it is going to be very safe, very fast, and the emergency checklist for that is super convenient, super short, and super understandable. The next thing, of course, is the wing. And as for all Diamond fleet, the wing is massive. The wingspan is 14 meters and 55 centimeters. As usual, designed to give you the maximum performance, minimum drag, and great characteristics of flying through the whole range of certified altitudes. Now, the DA62 has a maximum certified ceiling of 20,000 feet and a single engine maximum certified ceiling of 13,000 feet. If you pay attention to the leading edge of the wing, you're gonna notice that the plane is ready to counter the bad weather. You still have to be very careful with icing. Remember, what we do with the icing, we avoid it, but this plane has a liquid anti-icing TKS system installed, which means that it is approved for flights into the non-icing condition. It covers all of the leading edge of the plane. It covers the tail section, the vertical stabilizer and the horizontal stabilizer, and you also have a liquid anti-icing system installed on the prop. At the wingtip, you might notice the winglets, which of course help you to reduce the induced drag, thus reduce the fuel burn and increase the speed. Then as we move closer to the wing root, you might see, once again on the wingtip, the vortex generators. They are here to produce the vortex, which basically means that once you're approaching the stall condition, once you are at the critical angle of attack, the vortex generators will create a turbulent airflow around the wing, and it is sort of better than the laminar boundary layer because it sticks with the wing for a longer period of time, which means that the critical angle of attack increases, which means when the root of the wing and the rest of the wing is stalled, your ailerons are not stalled, which means that you have a very decent roll authority for your stall recovery procedure. We all know that, right? Push, roll, stabilize. You need to push to reduce the angle of attack, and then of course you need to make the bank level, the wings level. So this is here to increase the roll authority in the event of the stall. Speaking of the fuel, you have 4 fuel tanks here. You have 2 main fuel tanks and 2 auxiliary fuel tanks that give you a total of 86 US gallons of fuel. Now, the main tanks are of course located in the wings around here, and the auxiliary fuel tanks are located over here next to the engine. At the trailing edge of the wing, you may notice a huge flap. The wing itself, in the clean configuration, has a fantastic stalling performance, and this is something that we're going to demonstrate, but it gets even better with the flaps, especially with such a massive flap. The stall characteristics are very comfortable, they are very mild, no abrupt dropping of the wing, nothing. It is a very, very good feature, and the huge flap, of course, reduces the stall speeds dramatically. If you look below the wing, of course, you're going to see the retractable undergear, which is a super basic and standard feature of all multi-engine piston lands, or most of the multi-engine piston airplane. Nothing too crazy about this one, standard hydraulic system, and a very easy emergency extension tool. It works brilliant in case something goes wrong and the gear does not extend. The system works on a basis that if you need to lower the gear manually, you just pull the handle, you release the hydraulic pressure, and the gear falls down by its own weight. What can be easier and more simple than this? The rear side of the airplane features the standard T-tail tail section of Diamond airplane. It is quite tall, if I might say. It actually goes as high as 2 meters and 82 centimeters. So you basically need a ladder, right, if you want to have a look on the top. Pretty much standard here. A very good thing about the rudder that we have on this plane is that in the conjunction with the Garmin GFC 700 autopilot, you also have a yaw damper, right? And that's why we are saying that the GFC 700 is a 3-axis autopilot. You're going to have your LNAV, VNAV, plus you're having a yaw damper, which you can use in the conjunction with the autopilot. If you move closer to the cabin, this is when you start to really appreciate that this is a big plane. And it is quite long. It is 9 meters and 19 centimeters in length. And the reason behind that is that it has to accommodate 7 people. So the DA62 can accommodate 7 people. You can choose different versions of the seating configurations. You might have 2, 3, and 2. So actually you have 3 rows. So you might have 2, 3, or 2, or you might have 2, 2, 2 configuration for 6 people on board, or you might have 2, 3, or 2, 2. So you have a lot of options to go here. If you don't have the third row, which we're gonna see in a minute, which is located over here, you get a enormous amount of space for your baggage, which is basically complementary to the baggage section that you have in the nose of the plane. Now, the exterior is fantastic. I like it a lot. It looks brilliant. Let's get inside and let's have a look on the interior. Now, my favorite thing about this, of course, are the doors. I like them a lot, right? The Tesla style doors, it looks brilliant, it looks fantastic, super sexy, and on top of that, it's very comfortable when everybody gets to have its own door to get into the plane. It's very easy to get in because you have a handle, you have a pedal here, right? So you just stand on it and voila, you are here ready to get inside of your new favorite ultimate flying machine. What can I say? The interior is premium. What we have here is the genuine leather seats, slight touch of Alcantara combined with the genuine leather. The materials are fantastic. You really feel that, first of all, it's a premium touch, right? And you do feel that it's going to be durable, right? It's going to last for a long time. Here we have a configuration that is a 4-seater. So we have, of course, 2 people in front and we have 2 seats at the second row. And this is an option because, as I said before, you may have 3 seats in the second row. Now, in this configuration, I feel extremely comfortable. With 2 seats at the second row, you have a lot of space, And because it's only 2 people here sitting, right, you have a lot of storage for, I don't know, your drinks or whatever you want to carry with yourself. So it's very, very nice. A lot of room. From the basic features that we have here, something that you don't see right now, you have the something that we have here is the ports to connect the headsets, some USB charging ports, which of course you expect to have nowadays in the planes, not only for pilots but also for passengers. We have some air vents, we have some reading lights, and of course we have our oxygen system. So because we are certified to fly up to the ceiling of 20,000 feet, and this is something that this plane does pretty well, you will be using something like this, which is a cannula equipment. So you will put it, you will insert it here in the oxygen port, and you will use it with the oxygen system that is installed in the plane. You just need to make sure that you refill it. Now, in the third row, we don't have the third row here in this plane because of the configuration, but you might have the third row where you will have 2 seats for 2 people. So a lot of different options for the configuration. It depends on what you really need. Mass and balance wise and performance wise, we're going to check this at the end of the video, but it gives you a lot of versatility. And remember at the beginning of the video, I told you that this is a family SUV. So the third row, if you go for the option of a 7-seater 2-3-2, it means that you can take the whole family with you, right? You can take the kids, you can take your dogs or cats, whatever you prefer. Or if you don't take a 7-seater configuration, or if you take 7-seater configuration but you don't carry 7 people, this will give you plenty of room for the baggage and things that you want to carry with yourself. So the overall feel and look of the Diamond 62 interior is of course premium, something that you would really expect from this particular airplane. For the pilots, of course, the most interesting side of this is the cockpit. So let's jump over there. Welcome to the cockpit. The cockpit is great. It's spacious, it's ergonomic, the seat is very comfortable, you can regulate it to a variety of different positions. During the cruise flight, you can actually push you all the way, almost like in the lying position. Very, very comfy. The first thing you notice, of course, are the screens. Here we have the Garmin G1000 NXI, which is coupled with the GFC 700 autopilot. Without further ado, let's switch on the electrical master. Let's have a look at the Garmin. Let's start the engines, and let me tell you and show you what we have here in the cockpit. So without further ado, let's put the electrical master to on. Give some time for the Garmin G1000 NXIs to initialize. Yep. And we are aiming to start the engine, so we're gonna go straight away to the checklist. Yes, we do understand the agreement. Yes, we do. Okay, we want to go for the normal operating procedures, and we want to run the check for the before engine starts. This is all completed. We're gonna do it a little bit fast. Gear warning, license fire detector. Yep, this is all checked. No need for the eyes now. Passengers are instructed. Done, done, done. Fuel quantity is noted. Temperature is good. Total time in service is good. Checked on, checked on. Power levers are both idle. Strobe lights are on. RACC is off, and we're gonna start the left-hand engine. Now, the start here is actually very simple. We're gonna use basically the start-stop button, like on a modern car. To start the left-hand engine, we need to put the left engine master to on. Right away, this is a jet fuel engine. We don't have the spark plugs, we have the glow plugs, and we have the glow on indication, which is good. Now the engine is preheating itself a little bit, and once the glow on indication is off, we're gonna just press the button. Left side clear, right side is clear. That's it. And the left engine is good. We're gonna go to the engine page, double check everything about the left engine. Oil pressure is good, RPM good, everything looks great, and the oil temperature is gonna get warmer a little bit now. Now, we're gonna do absolutely the same thing to start the right engine, which is super simple. Once again, we're gonna put the right engine master to on. We're gonna have the right glow on indication. Brilliant. Right side clear, left side clear. Let's wait for the right glow to get to off. It's off. Right side clear, left side clear. I'm pressing the start button. Voila. Check the oil pressure. Now everything is great. And that is how you basically start the engines on DA62. What can be more simple than that? Remember, this is FADEC and the engine electronic control unit dealing with everything by itself. So if you're gonna get back to the engine, we've checked everything. The engines are started. We're not using the external power. Great. Now, quick after engine start check. The oil pressure is checked. RPM is checked. Fuel pumps are both off. Fuel selector safety guards are closed. So if I put this cover up, you are going to actually see the fuel controls over here, and the fuel selector safety guards are this one, so that you cannot, switch off the fuel completely. So it's a guard, and this is how it looks, in the open position. So we're gonna have it in closed position. We're gonna put both fuel selectors to crossfit, just
for the sake of checking the crossfit system for the multi-engine airplane. Not gonna use the pitot heat. No, this is something that we don't need for now. So now as we are ready and we're started, let's have a look at what's happening here in the cockpit. Let's go through the panel. Let's see the switches. Let's talk a little bit about everything. So at the left hand side, you have the de-ice panel installed for the TKS. It's absolutely the same one as you have in the DA50RG. Then you have the controls for the ECU controls, engine electronic control units for both of the engines, left and right, the alternators, and if you move to the bottom left side, you have an electronic rudder pedal adjustments, which is very nice. So before me, somebody was very tall. So now I need to adjust the rudder pedals. I just click here and they are electric. So it's very comfy and you don't need to, you know, play with the controls at all. It's very simple. At the bottom, you have the oxygen control valve. Once you pull it, you will actually get the oxygen flowing into your cannula that you're using for the oxygen system. Then here is the engine controls, the start buttons and the master switches. You have the left-hand side engine fuel pump and right-hand side engine fuel pump, the electrical master, avionics master, pitot heat. We have the gear and fire warning test, which is very cool because we can perform a check and we will see the check of the fire warning and the gear. We'll also check that we actually see the red light, which means that the system is operating properly, that it's ready to tell us that the gear is unsafe. Then, of course, you have the primary PFD display of the Garmin G1000 and the MFD display of the G1000. You have your audio panel over here, some standby instruments, the light setup, internal light system, and the control panel for the GFC 700 autopilot. You have your gear lever, flaps lever, the ELT lever, and the oxygen system gauge that shows you how much oxygen pressure you have for your flight. And to the right side, the Diamond once again puts all of the circuit breakers in one location, so it is very easy for you as a pilot to see all of them during the flight and before the engine starts. If you move down, we have the rudder trim, which is very easy and convenient to use. We have the parking brake, defrost and cabin, so your warm air controls. We have the power levers, and once again, this is a FADEC controlled engine, which means that you have a single lever power control, and you have your manual trim, which is also complemented by the electric trim on the control yoke. One of the best features that I find here is, of course, the alphanumeric keyboard. We're gonna show it to you in flight, how we use it, which basically means that now you can communicate to your instrument panel, not by leaning towards it constantly, but from the convenience of your seat. I find this function pretty amazing. Then, regarding the space, once again, it's brilliant, it's fantastic. You have a lot of space actually. The seat is very comfortable. You can adjust it. It is adjusted very easy. And during the flight, you can actually put it, and we're gonna demonstrate it to you, you can actually put it all the way back. So, what can I say? It's modern, it's sleek, it's ready to counter all the IFR missions. The G1000 itself is fantastic. What you have in the Garmin, you have, of course, the charts, you know, the Jepson charts for your IFR flying. We have the navigation map, the charts, the traffic map, which is a very cool feature because here you have a traffic awareness system, which means that you're gonna see everyone around you. Not only the guys who have the ADS-B installed, not only the guys who have the Mode Select or Mode Sierra installed in their place, but everybody, which means that if the pilot has a Mode Charlie transponder installed, you're also gonna see them. Next, we also have the weather radar in DA62, the storm scope. You also can have the weather data link, which means that en route you can download all of the weather for yourself. And we have a beautiful terrain display to make you aware of high terrain. And especially because we're now in Austria, this is a very, very important feature. Now, some of the things are optional, but you can have them, and they give they give you brilliant features to prepare yourself for the flight. On top of that, one of the features here is the air conditioner that can be installed, which can give you a proper full control of your climate within the cockpit. I mean, the basic thing, of course, is the heater, but what do you do when you're staying on the ground or when you're flying during the summer and it's very hot? Of course, you're using the air conditioning system. So, this is pretty much it regarding the cockpit. I'm very excited to fly the plane. Let's go and meet our pilot. But before we do that, let's shut down the engines. So to shut down the engines, it's actually very simple. Very easy to do. The power levers are at idle. I want to switch off the left engine. I just put the left master to off. I want to switch off the right engine. I just put the right master switch to off. And that is it. This is how it's done with the Diamond DA62.